All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our Create the Community of Raving Fans Through Digital Communications. We're very fortunate today to have Carrie Smith with us for the Dance Corner. But even more fortunate we are is to have KeyBank here today, who is our fantastic sponsor of this workshop series that we hold monthly. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Abir, who is our Old Savic rep down there. So thanks, Abir, for joining us every month in the morning to kick off our KeyBank workshop series. For those of you who have any questions, please use the chat or question and answer function at the bottom of the screen, and we'll get to those at the end of this great workshop. Thank you again for joining us. Abir, over to you.
Thank you so much, Joanna. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Chamber's Small Business Workshop Series. My name is Abir Saad. I manage the Old Saybrook branch here at KeyBank, and it's an honor to represent the KeyBank at today's session. KeyBank has been sponsoring these workshops for the Chamber for several years now because we see it as an extension of what we do for the financial wellness of our small business clients every day. Like the Chamber, we view our role in the community as a strategic partner to businesses, helping them prosper by providing quality banking services to meet their financial needs. As a branch manager, I work with small businesses in our community every day on ways they can effectively manage operations and grow their businesses. Our Small Business Financial Wellness Review is an award-winning review tool that helps us guide a conversation with business owners, identify goals, and help them build a plan. If after today's presentation, you're interested in learning more about KeyBank Small Business Solutions, I'd be happy to set up some time to speak with you. You can reach me either through the Chamber or at KeyBank in Old Saybrook. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Carrie Smith. She's an entrepreneur, educator, and more than just great dancing certified coach, a dance teacher, and a small business owner for over 15 years. Carrie loves sharing her experience with others to help them tap into their own potential and achieve excellence. She's a graduate of Connecticut College. Carrie is a member of Dance Educators of America, the National Dance Education Organization, and More Than Just Great Dancing. And she volunteers with SCORE. Carrie lives in downtown Hartford with her spouse and two rescue dogs, Tippy and Hugo. And she's also the owner of the Dance Corner in Killingworth, Connecticut. Carrie, turn it over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here today. Thank you so much, Abir. Let me get started without further ado here. We're going to talk a little bit about a topic that I am passionate about, and that is about great communication and connection with your customers. Can everyone see my slides? Hoping so. Yes. So let's start with this. I am, as you said, I'm a business owner. And I want to start with a little bit of gratitude because as a small business owner about to enter my third year of operating a business during the pandemic, sometimes it's hard to find that optimism and gratitude that we need. And I recently read an interview with Michael J. Fox, and this quote just jumped out at me, and I ripped it out of the magazine and saved it because it just really has become a daily mantra of mine. Gratitude makes optimism sustainable. If we just don't take a minute every day to think of something to be grateful for, anything, just like a warm cup of coffee, how can we maintain optimism? We need to find something grateful for. So I just challenge you as we kick off our talk today to take a moment and think of something that you are grateful for today on this lovely Tuesday in February where the sun is out. Might be a little chilly, but the sun shines out. So I'm grateful for that today. And I'm grateful to be here. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. Oh, excuse me, slide failed there. Okay. My history, I'm the owner of the Dance Corner in Killingworth. I have been the owner of the studio for 16 years. And you can see some pictures of our students here. These are all pictures taken before 2020. These are our end of 2019 photos. And we were at the top of our game at the top of this pandemic in 2020. We were having our best year ever, our highest student enrollment. We had just returned from our first trip to Walt Disney World to perform. That's me with the ears down there on the bus with the kids on our way to perform at Disney. There they are in those red costumes on stage dancing there. We had great students, positive classrooms, wonderful teachers. You can see our happy dancers there. Our community initiatives were on fire. We had collected more toys than ever before at our annual toy drive performance in December of 2019. And there you can see some of our kids with the Madison Police Department who helped us collect the toys for our toy drive performance in December. And just everything was great. And then of course, 2020 happened and COVID happened, and suddenly we were on lockdown. Our dancers went on Zoom, and we lost that ability to connect one-on-one with our families. Our lobbies were empty. Even when we came back to in-person learning and teaching at the studio, we weren't allowing parents inside to maintain social distancing. So we couldn't interact with them one-on-one as they came in and dropped off their little dancers and picked them up. So it became harder to build those relationships when everything switched to digital. Now we're 2 years later, we are inviting people back inside, but a shift has happened with our clients where they're used to just dropping off and picking up. They're not hanging out in the lobby with each other and moms drinking coffee and chit-chatting while their child is dancing during class. There's been a change in the culture and their routine, and that's become challenging for us in terms of how do I connect with the parents, because they are the client. Even though I run a business for children, the client is the parent. They're the one who's buying the dance class. So we want to make sure that we are finding a way in my business to keep those clients feeling educated and appreciated, even when we can't see them face to face, or they're choosing not to come in to interact with us face to face. So here are some ways we did that before 2020. We had interactive bulletin boards in our lobbies where kids wrote, what I'm grateful for today, what am I going to be for Halloween? We had contests and things, all kinds of decorations in our lobbies, just made it fun to be there. Flyers and infographics posted with information that parents needed to make sure they felt well informed, things they could easily grab and take home with them. And we even invited parents into the classroom. You can see this is a mom stretching with her daughter during our parent participation week. All of that went away because of COVID. We weren't bringing parents in the room. We had to maintain distance for our dancers in class to keep them safe. And so that became a real challenge, those special moments that parents were experiencing by being invited in for a sneak peek at their recital dance or having this great experience of dancing with their child in actually taking class with them weren't happening anymore. So we're getting back to some of those things now, but as I mentioned, that routine of coming in is gone for our parents. So, sorry, I'm really heavy with my hand on the slides today. So now, after 2020, we've turned our focus to those areas to improve communication and connection with our clients that we can do without seeing them in person. So we've really worked hard at unifying our company voice in terms of our communication. We've worked on targeting our emails and texts to specific groups of clients to be sure that they're only getting the information that they need. Personalized, intentional client touch points. And we've also created a private Facebook group only for our families and clients. And for some of our families, we have created custom communication plans for them because they just need to be communicated with differently. The e-blast doesn't work for them, or the Facebook post isn't getting to them because they're not on Facebook. They might need a little extra care. So this is a quote that I love. Chip Bell: customers who are merely satisfied remain your customers only as long as things are going their way. So the goal for every business should be to build a client base that is more than satisfied. We want a client base that is loyal. If you give your client some clear, caring communication, that's a really great step forward to creating a positive relationship with them and building that loyalty. Loyal customers will stick with you because they have confidence that even when they are dissatisfied, you'll solve their problem. And that's huge to me because there are problems when dealing with kids in dance class. It happens. It's inevitable. We are dealing with people's most precious resource, children. They're children. So problems come up. But my goal is to build a rapport and a relationship with every one of our clients that allows them to feel trust in us and know that even when things go wrong, they can come to us and talk about it and that we'll fix it. They trust that we will fix it. So no matter what the specific issue is, for me, good communication is the key to building that trust and loyalty. And one step we take is by intentionally meeting our clients where they're at with clear, thoughtful, and personalized communication. Clear client communication should keep them well informed, tell them only what they need to know and want to know, and provide them with like an easy button, like that Staples easy button, and make everything as easy as possible to join, as easy as possible to buy. Less hassle, just say yes and you're in. Make them feel seen, heard, and appreciated. This last one is the most important to me, and this is our focus in my office, is making sure that every client feels seen, heard, and appreciated. Who's lost a client due to miscommunication or a sale? I'm sure if I could see your faces, you would all be waving your hands around that, yes, somebody has lost a client because of poor communication in their office. We had a client several years ago who just dropped out mid-season. And full disclosure, at the time, I was a solopreneur and honestly not doing a great job with following up. When people dropped out, I just, get a phone call. Susie's going to drop dance class. And our season is like a school year. So they sign up in September and we expect that they're going to stay with us through May and dance on stage in this year-end recital. But the recital isn't mandatory. It's just that one little day after everything, after all the learning that happens in the classroom. So when I finally reached out to this family and asked, why are you leaving us? What's happened? They told me that they had a family wedding on the weekend of our recital and they thought the recital was mandatory. So they figured they should just drop out because they couldn't be there. And that was a big communication fail for me because I lost 6 months of a client that could have stayed and learned and maybe not have the chance to be on stage in the recital, but they would have learned all the skills, had all the wonderful classroom experiences and connections with their friends and fellow classmates and their teachers, and hopefully would have come back the next season to have that recital experience. But that was just poor communication on my part. I didn't clearly communicate to all of our families what was required, what was not required, and what the most important thing was about our service, which was dance class, not recital. Recital's great. Performance is great, but the most important thing we offer them is the classroom experience. So let's talk a little bit about email because that seems to be our primary way of communicating with clients these days. It's great, but it does have drawbacks. It's asynchronous. You're not together in the same room during the conversation or even reading it at the same time. Somebody sends it at 10 o'clock at night and you get it at 9 a.m. when you get to the office. It's textual. There's no tone of voice or body language or facial cues. It's just text. So you read it how you read it. It's asocial. It's typically written in isolation without the awareness of the humanness of the other party. So it's really easy to write a nasty email because that person isn't in front of you. So that keyboard tough guy is a real thing. People feel a lot more free to say nasty things and to get really mad at you via email than they would to your face or on the phone because you're not there in front of them. They don't see a human being. They don't have that heart and caring and kindness that we hope we all have for other human beings. But there are benefits to email. It's reviewable. You can read it, you can write your email and you can read it over. You can have somebody review it. Does this sound good? Does this get the message across? Does this sound a little too harsh? Is this too friendly? Is this too formal? It's reviewable. You don't have to send it right away. The words don't come out of your mouth and they're gone. You can read it and check it and redo it. It's pretty reliable for the most part. I know as a business, we get a lot of that. It's gone to my spam folder from our clients, and I'm sure you've all experienced that. But for the most part, there is a pretty good reliability to it. And it's given us the ability to keep in touch and build relationships through personally reaching out to clients. So clear communication starts with your team. How do we create a unified company voice? Every business has a voice. Quite often with small business or with a solopreneur, the business is the owner's voice and the voice is the owner's voice, right? When I was the only person running my business, I was the only one writing the emails. I was the only one answering the phone. I was the only one writing ad copy. The voice was mine. But what happens when you bring people into your business and start growing your team? That voice gets distilled, starts to get diluted, and it might change. That might be a good thing. There might be good things added to that company voice, or maybe you really want that voice of that owner on there and you don't want to lose it. The main thing is whether you embrace some changes to your company voice or you keep it the same, that you keep it unified and no matter who is emailing in your business. So I have had a couple of team members come on to work with us where they start emails. And if you're, I just keep in mind, I work in my business is very family friendly, a little casual. So we're not super formal, but we do want to be professional. We are a professional business. We offer a professional service, but I don't want people writing, "Dear Mrs. So-and-so," and then signing off sincerely. That's not my voice. That's not how I talk to the parents of my students. On the flip side, I had someone recently come into our office who said, "Hey, Susie, that's not to me a formal enough email opener, an email greeting. I use hi." It might not seem like a big difference, but I say, "Hi, Carrie." And then I sign off with something like "all the best," or "have a great day," or "have a super day," or something positive and friendly and fun. It might seem like a tiny detail, but those email greetings and sign-offs are really important because that gives the conversationality to your email. It tells someone who they're talking to and how they're talking to them. Someone who's too formal, it seems too stiff for my business. We want people to be friendly. It's family friendly. We're dealing with kids. We're super fun. We're happy. We're upbeat. I don't want people to feel like it's buttoned up and, we have to stand at the ballet bar and when we don't talk in class. That's not our dance studio. So it's really important to me how those emails go out. We also don't want our emails to feel like automated replies or chat bots. We want our customers to feel important. So adding a tiny personal detail into your email, like, "Hey, I saw that you got a new car," which actually is something that is happening right now because our parents aren't coming in. We're outside greeting the kids in the parking lot. And so we are noticing when people get a new car, which seems like a weird thing, or "Look at you, I saw you walking your dog by the studio. What a cute dog you have." Or "I heard you were sick and I'm glad you're feeling better." Just little tiny things, little personalization, just makes it so much nicer for them. And they feel like they are not just a number. They are not just somebody writing you a check, especially when they just pull up and drop their child off and drive away and then pull back up and their kid gets in the car and they drive away and they never sit inside and talk with us and get to know me and the teachers. So this is a great way for us to be really personal with them and friendly, but also keep a professional tone. We take it beyond the greetings to using email templates. So we use Google Drive in my business for a lot of things. It's really been useful for us. And we create templates for the most common email interactions that we have. For example, replies to new inquiries, people asking about how do I sign up, how to schedule a trial class, because we do trial classes, how to register. We organize these all in our Google Drive and they're shared with everyone on the team who needs them. They can customize them and update them with their own signatures, add personalized comments, like I mentioned, to the families, but it gives them that skeleton outline of here's the information we provide to clients about this, and here is the language we use when talking about these things with our clients. Templates are great for predictable, repeatable communication, but how do you handle specific emails that don't fall into the template category? And how do you equip your team to respond in that company voice when you get those tougher emails? So we have a training process for new hires at the Dance Corner and training them in the company voice. It's very simple and it just takes a little bit of time. And I have found it to pay off hugely taking the time to do it because I now have a team of people who are writing emails that sound like us. We give them those templates that I just mentioned, and they start with those to familiarize them with the voice. Then I also give them those guidelines for greetings and closings, like hi, hello, not hey, or dear, or sincerely. And then we have uniform company email signatures for everyone. So all of our emails look the same on the on the outbox when they go out to people. And when we get one of those tough emails that doesn't fit the template, I have the new employee draft a reply, and then that's reviewed by me or a supervisor. And I send them the changes, and then they can send the email out. Just like you would in school. You submit your paper, your teacher gives you notes on it, you make corrections. It's a training process. Depending on the employee, it could go on for days or weeks, hopefully not much longer than that. It's a great way to just have a back and forth dialogue about what the expectations are for communication with your clients, aside from just giving those templates, right? This opens the door for employees to ask questions. Why do we say it this way? Why do we use this language around our tuition structure? Why do we say this instead of that? It really has been a great way to onboard employees on a higher level, so they kind of get the why behind why things are the way they are. What is the reasoning behind my choice to say something this way instead of that way? And as new questions come up and new things become more frequently asked questions, we'll create new templates and provide them. But as we know, not everything is predictable. So this back and forth email could come up again if a new challenging question comes to an employee that they haven't dealt with yet, and they want to make sure that they're using the desired voice and giving the correct answers. I'll ask them to draft that email, and we'll review it together before we send it to the client. The next step that we take to ensure that we're using email to build the most positive relationships possible with our clients is that we limit the sales emails that we send, and we intersperse those emails that are selling with emails that are informational to give a client insight into our business. So it's really important that that communication is not always feeling salesy, that they feel like they are getting something more intentional and personal to them and their experience with us. And who has had a client unsubscribe from their email list? I actually literally just had this happen yesterday. And it was somebody who had unsubscribed in September, and then she signed up for a new program with us just this week, and I realized when we were getting her account reactivated that she had unsubscribed from our email list. And it's a lot of steps to get them resubscribed. If you use a service like a Mailchimp or a Constant Contact, you got to send them an email, they have to opt back in. And for us, email is not all about sales. It's important that they're subscribing to that list so they get important information about our programs, the programs that their child is enrolled in. I don't want them to miss out on news and events that affect them and that they might want to be a part of. So we've worked really hard to solve this at the Dance Corner. And since we rely on email so much as that information channel to our parents and our clients about recital classes, weather closings, and all that. So whenever someone is enrolled in a class with us and they unsubscribe, we have to go through that tough process of getting them back on board. So what we have done is created these targeted email lists to reduce the amount of unnecessary information and emails families are getting. So what I mean by this is, so I'm going to use my business as an example, but no matter what your business is, you could do this in whatever your product is. People who buy widgets get on this email list. People who buy blue widgets get on that email list. For me, a parent of a 2 to 3-year-old student doesn't need to get an email about a college scholarship opportunity because they are a long way off from that. So my families that have 2 and 3-year-olds enrolled in my program are on a certain email list. My high school students are on another email list. We have lists that are only for people who are currently enrolled. And then we certainly have leads and sales email lists of people that may have been former clients. They inquired at some time. We also segment those by age of the student, because the student is how our programming is built around the kids and their age. So I don't want to be sending here's this crazy, amazing, ballet intensive for the most serious dancers to 5-year-olds, because I'm not offering that for 5-year-olds. So this way, with these segmented email lists, we've really targeted what information goes to people so that it's something that's relevant to them and they don't start just glazing over and saying, why is this in my inbox, and unsubscribing from it. So segment by program, product, age, and past purchases. So I use age and program because that's what we do in my business, but you could segment your list by the products that they bought, by the past purchases, by things they've expressed interest in. We also add tags to them. So like I mentioned, the 2-year-olds, if they're going to age out, they are going to age out. They're going to grow. So our 2-year-olds are only going to be on the 2-year-old list for a year. So we're going to add a tag that we need to remove them in January of 2023 or whenever it is that they have aged out of that email list. They're only going to receive emails regarding the programs that are about them, that are things that they're interested in and things that they're eligible for, which is really important because it really does. It's a lot of clutter. Nobody wants to get emails that don't apply to them. There's so much reading nowadays. Parents are getting bombarded with things from school, from other marketing emails. We want ours to stand out as intentional and personalized so that they actually read them. So like, for example, just to use a retail example, I recently bought a white sweater from Loft, and I'm getting emails now that say, you bought a white sweater, maybe you'd like a white shirt to go with that. They're very intentional. And I'm certain that these big corporations are using automated apps and all kinds of marketing drip campaigns and things that I, as a small business owner, don't have the budget to afford. But by simply segmenting my lists as I add people into my email service and adding those tags on the front end, we can have targeted emails without all that extra expense and work on the back end. So what is next here? Benefits. Improve relevance ensures that you're sending more relevant messages to your audience, which in turn is going to increase your return on investment by delivering the right message to your clients. And it's just more appealing to them. They want to read things that they're interested in, not things that they're not interested in. I bought a white sweater. I didn't buy a blue sweater. I don't want an email about blue sweaters. I want an email about white sweaters. Better relationships in turn. Again, building trust. My clients trust that I'm not going to send them 1,000 emails about things that don't have to do with them. They are happier to get emails from us that have to do with their children, that have to do with what they bought, that have to do with the products that they are interested in, which in turn will lead to longer retention. We can create relationships with our clients by speaking directly to them in a targeted way and showing them that we value them and we value their time. We're not asking them to waste time reading things that don't have to do with them. We recognize what they're interested in buying, and we're making an effort to send them only content that is relevant to them. So to you, they're an individual with specific needs and wants, and you want to tailor that to them. You want to tailor what you offer to what you know they need and want. And by taking that extra step to customize your communication, you're going to improve your relationship with them overall. So going back to my educate and appreciate, this is a mantra of mine right now for this current season of business that I'm in. Educate and appreciate. We want to educate our families about what we do at my business. We don't only send sales emails. We send periodic updates to educate clients. Things like telling them about our story. Why is dance important for kids? What do they get out of it besides physical activity and learning dance skills? How are the products or programs you offer developed? Behind the scenes looks, pull back the curtain on things, show them like, this is how we made this product. For us, it might be how currently we're packing recital costumes. You know, how do we get all of those, 700 recital costumes in garment bags, all tidy and labeled for your dancer? What policies and procedures do you have that might require a little bit of explanation? Like why do we have a dress code for dancers? Why is it important that they wear a leotard and tights? What does your business do for the community? And this is a great one to highlight. If you are active in community service and your business is giving back in any way, these are great things to shout out in email. Tell your clients what you've done. When we do our toy drive performance, we make sure that everybody gets an e-blast about that. We got almost 300 toys. Thank you for your donations. We thank them. They were a part of that. We're appreciating them. And we're also telling them, maybe somebody who missed the fact that we did a toy drive performance, that this is what we do. We do more than just dance class. We actually give back to the community as well. And you can shout out your clients' achievements. I mean, you see this all the time in fitness, gyms and things, like on social media. If you're a gym member, you might be a member of a gym that puts shout outs to their members saying, hey, this person achieved this today at the gym. So we are shouting out achievements about our students, and they're not always dance related. When we have students who win a scholarship, get accepted to college, or a special dance program, we're going to shout that out. Say, hey, this student of ours did this great thing. It could even be one of our parents who runs a business. Somebody just has opened a new business who's part of our community, our business community, and they're in business now too. Let's support them. It's a great way to build more connection and trusting relationships with clients. And then again, to pull back the curtain, give them a special glimpse at the behind the scenes. Those weekly and monthly touch points that educate clients on how our programs provide more than just great dance lessons to our kids really help build retention and trust in our clients. And also, we get a lot of questions about why we have certain processes and procedures. We have rules, we have safety things. We're dealing with kids. It's important that we explain that, not just to the parents, but to the kids as well. They want to know why they have to wear certain things. They want to know why it's important to warm up, why we have to do a certain stretch. It's important that they're educated for their safety, not just for their education. And then we also recently, we did a did you know social media campaign. So did you know the Dance Corner is a member of More Than Just Great Dancing? Did you know that we had 11 seniors graduate last year and go on to college? Did you know what would you like people to know about your business? It's a super easy social media campaign. You just get a template up there and you pop a different picture and a different story in it and tell people things they don't know about your business, about you, about the founder, about your employees, about what's happening behind the scenes. So let's talk about meeting our clients where they're at. What I mean by this is if you have a client who never reads email, emailing them is not where they're at. You're going to want to find a different way to connect with them. And that can be hard, and it takes a little extra. Email isn't the only channel of communication for a lot of our clients. As I mentioned before, people are bombarded with emails. A lot of folks just glaze over. I actually just emptied my promotions tab in my personal Gmail this week, and it was like 800 messages because I just never look at it. So sometimes email is not the best way to reach people. And, I had a client this summer who she was on the wait list for one of our fall classes. And I kept emailing her saying, we have a spot. Do you want the spot? You're the next on the wait list. Never got a response. Finally, I texted her. In 2 minutes, she wrote back, yes, I want the spot. By meeting her where she was at as a texter, I got her child enrolled, got her all signed up. It was easy for her, that easy button. She didn't want to deal with email. She didn't want to go online to do anything. I texted her, asked her, she said yes. Just make it easy for people to say yes, and they appreciate that. So that's an easy thing to do when people first sign up with you or first make their first purchase with you, is to find out what their preferred channel is for communication. You can add a question to your registration, interest, or intake forms about this. You can add a question when a customer sets up an e-commerce account with you. If you're a service-based business like mine, where you might be sending appointment or schedule reminders, this is really important, and clients appreciate it. I mean, I know my hair salon texts me, they email me, but they never asked me which way I want to be contacted. I would love for them to ask me, because I actually don't want to be texted by them, but they text me. So they also email me, and they also send me I just get too many alerts from them. My vet, I have my 2 dogs. The vet calls me with appointment reminders. I would actually prefer that they email me or text me, because I find the call a little bit intrusive in the middle of my workday. And I have a calendar and I remember that the appointment is there. I appreciate that they're reminding me, but for me, the phone call is not the best way to connect, and it kind of bugs me. It rubs me the wrong way. I love my vet, my veterinarian. I love them, but maybe I would love them more if they asked me how I wanted to be reminded about the appointments. So just think about that when you're thinking about how you communicate with your clients. How do you feel about the way you're communicated with the businesses that you deal with? So if people want a text reminder and not an email, we set them up with a text reminder. If they love email and don't want to be texted, we don't text them. We do have people who prefer a phone call. And that can be done the old-fashioned way by actually just calling them, or you can leave a voicemail without ringing their phone through a service like Slide Dial. I'm going to give you a couple examples of services we have used here, and I'm not endorsing any of these apps. These are just things that I have used or that I'm familiar with. So TextLine and Podium are both text services for businesses. Instead of having my personal phone number, which I value my privacy, that my personal cell phone is my cell phone. I use it for business, but I certainly don't want my clients texting me day and night. And I don't have that expectation set for my staff, and we do not have staff company cell phones in my business. So this app allows us to put the app on whoever is dealing with the texts on their phone, and they will get the alerts through the app. And also there's a desktop interface. So I believe both of these, Podium and TextLine, work in a similar fashion that way. I mentioned earlier email services like Constant Contact or Mailchimp. This is where those targeted segmented email lists I'm talking about are housed. And when using them in a service like that, and those services have very robust tools to get you started on that, to automate some emails. It really, again, takes some work on the front side, but the benefits on the back end pay off. And it really is so great when you realize that you've done the work and that now you can just sit back and set it and forget it. The emails are created, they're scheduled, they're sending, they're automated, and they're going to the right people, the people who want them. And then Slide Dial is another service that we've used. It's a phone service that basically just goes to people's voicemail without ringing their phone. So examples of ways that I have used this. We do reminders to people who haven't signed up for the next session of classes. So, that'll start with an e-blast, and then it'll maybe go to some texting. And then if we don't hear back from those, we'll go to the next round, which would be me leaving a personal voicemail saying, "Hey, Jane, I noticed that Susie hasn't signed up for dance class this fall. We just want to check in with you, see if I can answer any questions, and give me a call." This way, I'm not ringing their phone. I leave them a message, and it's personal from me or someone in our office. They get a personal human voice to talk to. You can also use this Slide Dial as a broadcast voicemail too, where you can send it as the same message to multiple phone numbers. There's a paid and a free service for that. So I will say, even though my focus here today is on digital communication, I just want to take a minute to talk about the fact that old school methods are still effective. And by old school, I mean like just the regular old snail mail and phone calls. We found that one of the best, most positive outreaches that we do to our clients that receives the most positive feedback is that twice a year, we call everyone who's enrolled in classes and ask them how things are going. And it's just a simple phone call. "Hey, Joanna, I'm calling to check in and see how Annie likes her dance class. Is she loving it? Great." Our office calls everyone who's on the class roster, every parent, and checks in. And sure, there are times when we hear feedback that is tough to hear, but it is so valuable to hear, because a lot of times those people would just not re-sign up, just float away to the next activity. Something wasn't exactly right for them, and they just didn't bring it to our attention. By having this phone call connection, it really opens the door for people to tell you what's going on. You invite them to give feedback this way, and I found that people are just so much more willing to talk about what's going on, whether it be positive or negative, and especially if it's negative, when you're on the phone with them. So we can send out surveys day and night. We can ask for Google reviews and Facebook reviews, but these check-in calls are just an amazing resource. We get great feedback that we can share with our staff on their performance from families. We also get to hear about things that need to be addressed. What isn't going right? What can we fix before we lose this client? So this has been really great for us. It might not work I might not be the right fit for certain businesses, but honestly, personal human connection is really important now, even more than during the pandemic. Here we are again, entering year 3 of this. and we're living in a very digital age. So I just want to circle back to these old school things and remind you that these are still real and these are still important to your clients. They do want to hear from you on a personal level, not always on a digital level. Another thing we do is we send personal postcards to our students from their teachers. So their teachers handwrite a little note, hey, you're doing so great in class. And we send those, and kids love to get mail. So for us, that's like a big win. We also did, this is sort of a mix of the analog and the digital. So our recitals always have a theme every year. This year, our theme is heroes versus villains. And so you can see we have this postcard. The front here is the big recital logo. And then on the back, it's basically a save the date postcard. So the back, it says, hey, just reminding you, our recital is on this day. But at the top, you can see there's that little square, that QR code. So we've married the analog and the digital here. We put the QR code on the postcard. And that QR code, if they scan it with their phone, will take them to a Google site that is dedicated to information about this show. It is a Google site, Google website, which is a free thing. You can build a very easy to use informational website for whatever you need. I'm not for e-commerce, I don't believe, but we use it for information because we want to take this off of our e-commerce side. We don't want to confuse people who are just trying to register for a dance class with all of this information about a recital. So we build this little website that just is about heroes and villains, just about the recital. Parents scan this QR code to their phone and it takes them right to all the information they need. So our hope is that this postcard that was mailed to their homes will be stuck on their fridge until June 18th when the recital is over. So we hope that that'll be there. So anytime they're like, wait, what time is rehearsal? They can, if they haven't already bookmarked the website, they can scan that QR code and find out all the information they need to know. This is, I mean, we're familiar with those QR codes. Restaurants use them for menus in the past couple of years. They've started coming up everywhere. It's super handy and it's a great way if you're doing a mailing to your clients, pop a QR code on it and to send them to exactly where you want them to go, not just your big overarching website. If it's like, we want you to buy blue widgets, send them to the page for blue widgets with that QR code. So there's that. And personalized touch points, the one-to-one touch points with clients. So I schedule these for every 60 to 90 days with our top clients. They don't know they're scheduled. And so, but I schedule them. They're on our calendar, that there's something personal going to our top 10 to 15 families every 60 to 90 days, giving them something, just a little extra love. So quite often it's a personal email from me thanking them for maybe supporting a new program, telling them something remarkable I witnessed their child doing. And remarkable could be helping someone tie their shoes. Just, I saw your child being a great citizen. It doesn't have to be a great dance achievement. It just, a human achievement is something to share. And parents love to hear great things about their kids. And this one also might include emailing a photo or video of their child doing something great in class to them. We've also had teachers send video messages to the students. Maybe they need some encouragement. Maybe they just need, maybe it's just a little cheering them on because they achieved something great. And then we also send those top clients special invitations to try new products or services first. They get like a special deal or a sign-on first because those top clients are our raving fans. They are the early adopters of things. And we want to get them into programs first that they can talk about and spread the word and the FOMO to everyone else. So that we really lean into inviting our VIPs to all the new things that we're offering and hope that they'll get excited about them and share that excitement with others. And so then here's a little bit of how we created community connection through social media. These are some screenshots from our private Facebook page. This is really been a game changer for us. And because it is private, we approve whoever goes into it, and people actually see the posts. So if you if your business is on Facebook or you're doing any Facebook ads or you're doing any posting on Facebook, you know that Facebook keeps changing the algorithm. Everything keeps turning upside down like every 60 days, and people just don't see your posts. They're not getting organic traction the way that they used to. It's really hard to get into people's feeds. So this has been really great because not only are we getting into people's feeds, first of all, because it's a group and not a business page, people feel safe sharing and commenting in here because they know it's not public. They know they are in a safe space. We have created a safe space for them. They are happy to share things about their children, comments about things going on at the studio. And it's been really an amazing community builder for us, and seeing people interact in here has just been wonderful. So you can see all the yellow things are actually socks. We did a fundraiser called Sock It to Cancer for a pediatric cancer research charity, and they sent us all these socks, and the kids had to collect change in the socks, and they could decorate the socks. We had a contest. Like the fanciest sock, the scariest sock, the silliest sock. And we raised almost, I believe it was like $4,000 in change. It was crazy. Everybody was on board with it. As soon as we started posting socks in our Facebook group, everybody was like, wait, where's my sock? Oh, we forgot to decorate our sock. Oh, we better bring in money. It really boosted engagement in the fund drive. And you can see these kids are so proud of their socks that they decorated. They're so excited about them and they're sharing them. And it was just a really great way to show our families what we're doing. Again, it's more than dance class. We are teaching these kids the importance of giving back. And we're engaging with our community and showing them the exciting things that are happening in the classroom, even if they're not in the building. And then you can see that the second picture is during our Halloween dress up week. And this is one of our competitive team. And I love the parent comments here where they're like, we love how these girls they work so well together. Those are the parents commenting on that post, saying how much they love this class for their kids. So other parents are seeing that. There are clients, they're seeing this and they're talking with each other. I don't know if those two parents talk to each other outside of Facebook. I have no idea, but they're talking to each other here. They're making a connection, which is amazing. A little girl with the umbrella, we did a trick or treat around TDC. It's like a trunk or treat, except we just did it around our building. We have a lot of doors and we had decorated them all. Our teenagers were handing out candy. It was something we started in the first pandemic Halloween and people loved it. So we kept doing it. And you can see this mom is just praising us and saying how wonderful it is, the awesome thing, and how much her child loved this. And then the other great thing about this group is it's a space for me to continue to recast our vision and our mission to our clients. It gives me a platform that they actually see to put it out there and say, look at what we are helping your kids achieve. Look at what we are doing together. Look at what you are a part of. And so this post, the last post here is from our holiday show this past December, our toy drive one, which we actually did collect over 270 toys. It was another great one. It was wonderful. We were on stage again, which was back on stage for the first time. And I, posted this big praise to the parents, praise to the kids. Here we are, strong together, doing what we do, doing what we love, teaching our kids about giving back and all the great values that dance instills in them. So I am able to, as the leader, get out there and talk directly to my clients in a really personal way. And they feel it's personal, and it is, and it's not on my business page, and it's not an e-blast. This is a note from me to them saying, you guys are great parents, you have great kids, and I'm so thankful that you chose us for your child's dance education, because look at the great things we're accomplishing together. So it's really been a great thing for us. I encourage you, if you think it's something right for your business, a private Facebook group has been fantastic. So let's talk about when things don't go right. So there's like all that great feel-good stuff in our Facebook group, but we know that things don't always go right. Customers are dissatisfied sometimes. And at the beginning, I said, what do you do? Like what we want are loyal clients, because they trust that even when they're dissatisfied, we'll fix it. So there's always going to be bumps in the road with customer care. And despite your best efforts, we're all going to encounter a dissatisfied or difficult customer sometimes. In my business, the complaints do come to us primarily through email, because as I've mentioned, people aren't coming in the doors anymore. So they tend to email us. Sometimes we get a voicemail, sometimes they come in, but 95% of the time it's an email. And we're dealing with parents' most precious resource, their children. So sometimes the complaints can be very personal and a little over the top, because people, they care a lot about their kids. It's important to them. So if something goes wrong with their child, they're going to be upset with us. And I get that. So sometimes we get an email like this one. And this is actually a real snippet opener of an email I received. It's one of my favorite ones. So I saved it. Hi, ladies. I'm writing this note with a heavy heart and madder than a hornet. And then this email went on and on and on to tell us how awful we were and like all of the things that my team had done that had hurt their child or disappointed their child. And as a business owner, you know, we go into this next phase of like, I'm either confused, like, what are they talking about? I don't understand why they're mad, angry because they're attacking me and my team, sad because it's just like overwhelming. And then, you know, frustrated because sometimes it's the same client who's always complaining and you just feel like you can never get through it. So in this instance, when we're dealing with the problem email, we're not going to a template. And the first thing we need to do is pause. It's really important to pause and think about it before you reply. And quite often, you know, our instinct is to lash out and react and defend ourselves right away. But a rule that I have instituted for myself and my staff is that we have to pause a couple hours, sometimes overnight. If it is not an urgent, needs to be responded to now situation, we need to take time to consider it before we respond. Your ability not to respond is a superpower. If you just respond off the cuff defensively, you are not going to solve that client's problem or maintain their loyalty. If they are loyal to you, you will lose it at that point because they do not want to hear your defense. They want to know how you're going to solve their problem. And we want to defend ourselves. That's natural. But we have to stop and rein it in and not settle for speed over clarity and consideration. So I always consider what's the root of the issue? Like, what is the real problem here? Because sometimes the problem is not what they say the problem is. There's something deeper going on. Can I offer a solution? And then what's the best channel for your response? Depending on the seriousness of the complaint, you might not want to use email as your medium to reply. I always think about this very intentionally about whether or not it's an email reply or some other way. I found this study, which I thought was really interesting from the Journal of Human Relations, that determined that email can make it more likely that a dispute blows up. And the structural features of email make it more likely that disputes will escalate compared to phone or face-to-face communication, because of all those things we talked about in the beginning about the drawbacks of email: no facial cues, no tone of voice, no body language. There's none of those social cues, and there's no opportunity to repair small disagreements. As soon as that back and forth starts, it becomes more and more aggressive. I'm not surprised by this, are you? I mean, who hasn't had an email back and forth that has escalated? It happens. So it's really easy for an innocuous email, or seemingly, like you write it and think, this isn't a mean email, this isn't an angry email, but the reader might put their own tone on it and their own feelings and their own intentions on it and misread it, and then the tensions start to escalate quickly. So I asked myself, just because they emailed, does that mean it's the most effective way to get back to them? And do I want them to screenshot and share it? I mean, how many of you have been a victim of a bad review or something on Facebook where somebody said, oh, this is what they sent me? Or have you just seen you've seen this happen? I mean, I've seen it happen to other businesses and just been mortified. It's really, really easy nowadays for people to twist what you write and share it all over the world. So I am very careful about what gets written. And honestly, I want to have that conversation where they hear my intonation, where they understand where I'm coming from, where they can see my body language if it's an in-person conversation. So maybe it's a phone call or a talk to help talk them through the solutions that we can offer them. And that, in a difficult conversation with one of my clients, more likely than not, it's going to a phone call or an in-person meeting. So when responding to a client issue, my number one rule is establish gratitude. Always start with thank you for bringing this to my attention, or something in that area. Be mindful of your tone and body language. Do not come off as defensive. Do not come off as attacking them. And listen. I mean, that's all in caps for a reason. People want to be seen, heard, and appreciated. give them that. Sometimes that's all they want, is for you to listen to the problem, and then offer solutions in line with your brand with clearly laid out options for them. And then follow up. Follow up. That's where the gold is. You and your team need to follow up and close the loop on that issue. If you've offered them a solution and they've taken you up on the solution, circle back to them. How are things going? Did that help? Is it better? Find out if they are doing okay and that if the solution actually worked. And that's how you're going to know if they feel appreciated. You want to check in and see if they need more help or if something else isn't going right. Make them feel like they matter to you and that you appreciate them. So some great examples of framing up that communication when dealing with those customers. I just love all of these. What I hear you saying is, what would be your preferred solution to this issue? I wasn't aware of this. Tell me more. What can we do to change the situation? Thank you so much for helping me understand this issue. Thank you for making me aware. How can we best serve you moving forward? And these are all great, great ways to speak to your clients so that they feel appreciated. And then the last point for communication for me is determining if they need a more personalized communication plan moving forward. So we did talk a little bit about this, like I don't want the hair salon to be texting me or the veterinarian's office to be calling me. With my clients, there's a lot of balls in the air for parents. And sometimes there's people who just need to get text reminders about things and they want them. They need to know it. So do your clients want to get text reminders? Are they a special case where only that client gets a special email when a new product comes online because you know that's what they want and they're on like a VIP list for that and you make sure they know about it? Or do we need to call in and check on them periodically? So we have regularly scheduled check-in calls with our families, but maybe you have a client that needs a regular check-in on a more regular basis just for them. So we're taking time and consideration to meet their needs and to meet them where they're at with clear, customized communication and solutions to their problem will go a long way towards building that positive brand image and retaining loyal customers. And then here's just my bullet points on the educate and appreciate. Keep them well informed about products and services that are relevant to them. I mean, that is number one, relevance for me. People don't want to hear about things that don't have to do with their interest or their child in my case, or that they're not eligible for. They only want to hear about the things that they can buy that their child might like. Educate them about our why on a regular basis. I continue in that Facebook group, recasting that vision about why we do what we do. We raise great kids through dance. This is what we do. We instill great values in kids through dance. Dance lessons are life lessons. This is why we do what we do. I don't do what I do to raise the next prima ballerina. That's wonderful if I do send a prima ballerina out into the world, but that is not why we do what we do at my studio. I make them feel included in our process and community by pulling back the curtain on our operations from time to time to show them those behind the scenes things. I show them they are valued through intentional touch points from me or our managers. We create positive interactions and connections in that curated private Facebook group. In my company, we view communication as a means of educating and appreciating our clients. We keep them well informed about products and services they are interested in and want to know about without bombarding them with salesy e-blasts. And we educate them with intentionality through social media posts and emails about our mission and our why regularly. If they can see what's happening behind the scenes, if they sign on to why we do what we do and they believe in that mission too, they are included in the process. They are included in our community. And that is the word we use. It is our community. It is not just a business. We are a community at the Dance Corner. This quote is a great one. You don't earn loyalty in a day. You earn loyalty day by day. Trust and loyalty are built with clients through positive interactions, personalized touch points, and by addressing any complaints and problems with gratitude, care, and professional courtesy. When your clients feel seen, heard, and appreciated, they'll stick with you. And that has to happen day by day. It's not a one-time thing. It's every interaction. It's every purchase. It's every dance class. It's every recital. It's everything that they interact with you on. That's how you earn that loyalty. So I'm just going to challenge you as I wrap up here today. What is one thing that you can implement in your business daily, weekly, or monthly to build connection, community, and loyalty with your clients? So I hope you will think of that one item here and implement it today. Thank you so much. Stop my share.
Thank you so much, Carrie. So if you guys have any questions, please use the chat function or the question and answer function. We do have a comment here. It says, Carrie, thank you so very much for such great information. I will be using some of the tools you mentioned and pass them along to my wife, who is launching her own business now. So
awesome.
That's good feedback. So we like to hear that. Any questions, anybody? Now's your chance. Another response? This is great. Can you share your presentation?
Like my slides?
Yes.
Yeah, I could share. Joanna, is that something we can do?
Absolutely. If you want to send them to Danielle Lee, she can get them out to everyone who registered today. Yeah. So look for that in your email later this afternoon.
And there will be a replay as well that people will have access to?
There will be. This is recorded, so this will be on the Chamber's website. We have a listing of all of our past presentations that are on there, so please jump on, check them all out. But again, thank you all so very much for joining us today. We hope you have a fantastic day. Oh, we got another response. Carrie is a great business person. Thank you so much for all this great information. Yay. Good seminar. We love to hear great stuff like that. So thanks again for joining us, everybody. Have a great day. Remember, the sun always shines in Middlesex County.
Thanks, town of Berlin.
Bye, all.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it so much. Thanks, Joanna.